Hello. Please don't begin interpreting yet. This is just the introduction. Today I'm going to talk about reading and why people are reading less, and what we can do, why people are reading less and what we can do to make people read more. I'm going to mention a few terms. I'm going to talk about Goodreads, the state of the nation's adult reading report, Cornwall, the concept of book fairies, BookTok, fan fiction, and then some authors and books, Colleen Hoover, One Day, and War and Peace. So my speech will begin now. Ladies and gentlemen, anyone who knows me knows that I love reading. And in fact, I checked my Goodreads account and last year I read 48 books. That's actually nothing for me. I checked for the year 2021, which was my record year. That was 79 books, although that was also during COVID. So I think that had some part to play. Because of this, I was shocked to see that according to the UK's State of the Nation's Adult Reading Report, which interviewed over 2,000 people in the UK in 2025, only half of UK adults admitted to not reading regularly. And 24% of 16 to 24-year-olds said that they never read. And this led me to wonder why people are not reading as much as they may have before. There are many reasons for this. One is time, and this was mentioned by 24% of participants. We lead busy lives with work, children, families and friends, so it's difficult to find time to read. And what's more, with the little time that we have, people often choose different options as opposed to reading, which leads me to my second point, which is technology, mentioned by 20% of people. Technology is a key factor in the decline of reading. Streaming offers constant entertainment and instant gratification, and so reading a book which requires a lot more effort and concentration is not quite as appealing as it once was. In addition, increased screen time means that you lose focus, and 28% of people in the study said they had difficulties focusing for long periods of time. And of course, this means that it's more difficult to read, because to read you need to focus. A third reason is a lack of libraries, which in particular has an influence on the poorer people in society. Between 2016 and 2024, over 180 libraries closed in the UK. Due to the cost of living crisis, people are choosing not to buy books, and 1 in 5 mention cost as an important factor. So if these libraries are not open, people can't even access books. A fourth and final reason is a loss of confidence. 18% of people said they had difficulties reading, and a lack of confidence also means that you're less likely to read. Only 4% of people who said they were very poor or poor readers class themselves as regular readers. You may be thinking, well, that's fine, reading's just one form of entertainment, it's just one hobby of many. But in fact, this report is concerning. Reading is very important. On the one hand, it has psychological benefits. For example, improved sleep, better concentration, reduced stress. You have greater empathy because you can put yourself in someone else's shoes, and it also helps to increase creativity. According to the study, 45% of regular readers said that they were more likely to sleep better, and 58% said that they were generally happier. And then there's also the educational advantages of reading. You can broaden your knowledge, you can increase your vocabulary, you can improve your language skills in your own language or others, and you can also learn to understand different cultures and perspectives. All these things can help with personal growth as well as your career. So what can we do to encourage more people to read? There are some local initiatives. For example, in Cornwall, there are the so-called book fairies. They hide books around the county of Cornwall so that people can find them, read them, and then pass them on for someone else. Then there are also more large-scale initiatives. For example, Book Talk on TikTok, and 39% of the respondents in the survey said they used this as a way to get recommendations. On Book Talk, there are lots of people discussing fiction, there are author Q&As, and it has been known to influence book sales. For example, the books by Colleen Hoover have received a big boost through this platform. And then there's also popular TV adaptations, for example, the recent adaptation of One Day, which meant that many people then decided to read the book. These initiatives are all well and good, but what can we as individuals do to read more? As an avid reader myself, I thought I might end with some advice. And my advice would be to start small, for example, 5 minutes a day, because then it becomes part of your routine. For example, I generally read just before I go to bed. What's most important, however, is that you read whatever you want to read. You don't need to pick up a huge tome like War and Peace. You can read magazines, comics, non-fiction, audiobooks, or even fan fiction. This all counts as reading. I think we need to consider the concept of reading differently. There shouldn't be a sense of shame attached to what you read. I hope that you found my speech interesting, and maybe it will help to open up a new chapter in the story of your relationship with reading. Thank you.